Hey guys, welcome back to Reserved Investments on YouTube. Now, for those of you out there that do not watch this channel regularly, we talk an awful lot about speculation, not only in the antiques and collectibles trade. On this particular channel, we do talk a little bit about speculation in the financial markets and certain alternate asset classes like what's happening right now with Bitcoin, even certain speculative stocks that people are investing in, mainly the wonderful Robinhood retail investor crowd. And one of the things that always fascinates me is when you start to study the beginning of a lot of these speculative markets, how they end up, how they change, how they evolve, and how they either suffer a correction or a crash, and what's left of that market after the dust clears. There's a lot of videos that I've done on this particular subject matter. And anybody out there that is interested in speculating or investing in antiques, collectibles, or other speculative assets, I encourage you to go back through my back catalog of videos and watch those particular videos of reference, because they do bring to light the dangers of investing even over the short term or over the long term in a lot of speculative assets. And again, this does not just apply to the antiques and collectibles trade. A lot of the concepts that I teach on this channel literally came to light on the financial side of the equation. It's just that a lot of people recognize that certain antiques and collectibles can be seen as valuable assets, and they started to apply a lot of these same techniques to understanding the prices and, in some cases, the price manipulation of comic books, toys, rare coins, antiques, art, and, of course, Garbage Pail Kids. So how did Garbage Pail Kids come to light? Well, before we start talking about Garbage Pail Kids, we have to go back a little bit further, 1983, 1984, and we have to talk about Cabbage Patch Kids. Because at that particular point, believe it or not, the 1980s was a crazy place. The Connecticut Leather Company, also known as Coleco, was a major toy company at this particular time frame. Those of you out there, I'm sure most of you already heard of the ColecoVision or the ColecoVision Atom computer system. Those were also produced by Coleco. Coleco had a lot of big hits in the 1980s. And one of those massive big hits that they had was Cabbage Patch Dolls. Now, this video is not going to be about Cabbage Patch Kids or anything of that nature. So if you don't know what a Cabbage Patch doll is, maybe you weren't born in the 1980s, maybe you spent the last 30 years living under a rock, go and Google it. They are still produced. Other companies hold the rights to produce Cabbage Patch Kids to this day. Some of the earlier ones of Cabbage Patch Kids are worth money, but overall, it is a very esoteric niche collectible in the year 2021. Well, in the year 1984, a lot of companies saw opportunity in the toy market, and Topps had a great idea where what if they take the concept art of Cabbage Patch Kids, parody it, and put out a kind of tongue-in-cheek product based at kids that would pretty much make fun of not only Cabbage Patch Kids, but also pop culture, life, and other product lines in general. Now, this came out of an idea that Art Spiegelman had when he was designing wacky packages. If you don't know what wacky packages are, go and Google it. That is another kind of funny collectible card item that came out of, I think they were released in the 70s, if I recall correctly, either the 60s or 70s, because I know we had the Mars Attacks cards that were also produced by Topps. I think they came out in the 60s. Then it was wacky packages. Then Garbage Pail Kids hit in the year 1985. Now, this is very important because there are 15 original series of Garbage Pail Kids that pretty much came out of the 1985 first edition release. Now, when Garbage Pail Kids hit, they had a lot of organic demand and collectability. Believe it or not, this is really going to surprise a lot of you guys out there. Because if you watch the video that I did on Marvel Universe trading cards, I am dead set against investing over the long term in Marvel Universe trading cards. Now, this is going to surprise you. I actually like the first series of Garbage Pail Kids much better than Marvel Universe trading cards if those were the only two asset classes you had to choose from. So if somebody put a gun to my head and they said, Sean, I can only choose between Garbage Pail Kids, the first series, or Marvel Universe trading cards, the first series, which one should I invest in? I would honestly choose, over the long term, Garbage Pail Kids. And let me give you my reasoning. Unlike Marvel Universe trading cards, there were not stores catering to Garbage Pail Kids set up across the country. Now, I know some of you right there that I said that are going to disagree with me because, to be fair, they were sold in convenience stores all across the United States. But it was not a fad that stores were ready to profit from. Garbage Pail Kids came on the scene and had true organic demand and collectability. Were there people trying to speculate in them? Yes, there was a little bit of speculation, but the first series slipped out and kind of went under the radar. So most of the speculators that came into this market, they didn't get involved until series 2, 3, 4, 5. They got involved much later in the game. The true original first series of Garbage Pail Kids that came out in 1985 by Topps Corporation did have a lower print run than a lot of subsequent releases in the original first series that were released in the United States. So I want to make that very clear. Unlike Marvel Universe trading cards, this was not something designed by a company thinking that we can print as much as we want for these. They will sell and we'll make a lot of money. It was a hit or miss product that just caught on. And I don't think a lot of people realize that. So when we're going back to the 1980s, this is one of those products that came out, took the world by storm, and it kind of caught on, and it remained in the public consciousness for pop culture and pop culture-based collecting. Now, this is very important. The one thing that you got to understand is if you get involved in this market, you got to keep several things in mind. First, right now, the market for Garbage Pail Kids, especially first edition PSA 10 Garbage Pail Kids, is going insane. If you search eBay, if you search any auction site that is catering to this market right now, people are paying an insane price for these cards, much like what they're doing with Marvel Universe trading cards. That kind of gives me a little bit of a sense of caution where, okay, I need to stand back and see where this market is going. Number two, you also need to realize this is a highly speculative market. A market that came to light in 1985 that is being kind of rediscovered again within the last 5 to 10 years. You must understand it's nowhere near being established. We have decades or more to go to see if future generations are going to care about 1985 Series 1 Garbage Pail Kids. So I want to make that very clear. You are still taking a risk if you are choosing to invest in this market over the short term or over the long term. But in my opinion, it has more legs and credibility than what's happening with Marvel Universe trading cards at present time. We'll see how this plays out over the next 5 to 10 years. We'll see if I was right or if I was wrong in that assessment. But in my opinion, Garbage Pail Kids at least do have more organic demand at present time than that of Marvel Universe trading cards, if we're comparing apples to apples, which we can in this case because they're both products that came out around the same time. I know Marvel Universe trading cards came out in 1990, 1991. So we're talking several years apart, but they're both speculative. One's just based on a more popular franchise, meaning Marvel Universe, obviously. Now, another thing you got to understand, if you choose to play in this market, just know Garbage Pail Kids, even though the brand is still going strong to this day in the year 2021, more on that in a bit, will never ever be comparable to the popularity of Star Wars, of the Marvel Universe, of Nintendo, of Magic the Gathering, of Pokemon, of any type of top tier franchise like that. So if you have a choice to invest in certain other products or brands that you are also emotionally attached to, by all means, I would tell you to invest your money there rather than here in the wonderful speculative era of Garbage Pail Kids. However, I want to make this very clear. There is opportunity here over the short term if you know how to analyze these trends. Now, where it gets cloudy is, again, if you got somebody out there that grew up with these type of cards like I did, I was born in 1976. By 1985, my parents would buy me these cards at the convenience store, and I would take them to school and I would trade them with my friends. That's how much I was into this. So I finally remember Series 1, especially, of Garbage Pail Kids when they first came on the scene. If you are somebody like me who grew up with them, you really have to put emotional attachment aside, because yes, it's true. Even in the year 2021, Topps has revitalized this brand. They are still making Garbage Pail Kids cards to this particular day. But what you got to realize is there's no guarantee that a person, a would-be collector who would be gravitating towards collecting these items, who's born in the year 2010 and he's 11 years of age in the year 2021, there's no guarantee that he is going to grow up and he's going to want a first edition, first series Garbage Pail Kids card graded by PSA in PSA 10 condition, and he's going to be willing to pay several $1,000s or a premium for that card. So while it's true, I like this market a lot better than Marvel Universe trading cards, you have to understand that there is still a certain amount of risk here. And in case you're wondering, in case you don't want to spend the 14, 15 minutes of your life watching the video that I did on Marvel Universe trading cards, the reason why I like this market better is it comes down to organic demand. In 1995, the kids that were buying Garbage Pail Kids had an attachment to it. They were not speculators. The people that were buying Marvel Universe trading cards, for the most part, those that bought into that card game were part of the comic book collecting bubble of that particular time frame, hoping that those items would appreciate in value. So there are major differences when we go back to the 1980s and even the 1990s and we analyze the market for Garbage Pail Kids versus that of Marvel Universe trading cards. And I know this video is going to cause controversy because there's going to be a lot of people in the comments, Sean, you're nuts. Marvel Universe trading cards are so much better. They're going to be worth a lot more money than Garbage Pail Kids because it has brand recognition of Marvel. I don't dispute that. There's going to be some winners in that bunch. But overall, if you look at the price appreciation that occurred in both markets just over the last few years, if we compare Garbage Pail Kids to that of Marvel Universe trading cards, I am seeing more organic demand on the Garbage Pail Kids side than that of the Marvel Universe trading card side. The Marvel Universe trading card collecting market right now just feels extremely manipulated to the point where I just feel inappropriate whenever somebody brings it to my attention and says, Sean, look what this card sold for. Because I know a lot of people that have a ton of this stuff, guys. Even the first series. I don't know a lot of people that have case after case of first series, 1985 Garbage Pail Kids in PSA 10, near mint, PSA 9 condition, just sitting there. I know a lot were made. I don't dispute that. But there's less of the first series than there are of any of the subsequent follow-up series to the Garbage Pail Kids line that was produced in the 1980s. Now, what I will tell you is, if you are thinking of investing in a lot of the modern era Garbage Pail Kids brands and cards that are coming out at Topps at the moment, I would tell you to use caution. There is a lot of mass-produced scarcity being used by the Topps company to prop up those prices on the secondary market. So I am telling you, if you are going to invest in this, there's a lot other better investments, in my opinion, in the entire antiques and collectibles trade or even in the financial markets. But if you're dead set going into this market, please focus on first edition cards in PSA 10 condition. That's really where the money is. And at present time, I'm going to tell you something. They do appear to be selling for a premium. You might want to wait 6 months to a year and just see what happens. But no, if you do wait 6 months to a year, also prices could potentially rise. So it is a crapshoot. But that is my opinion on Garbage Pail Kids and what is happening in this market in the year 2021. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thanks for watching and have a great night.